Our guest today, we have Mr. Clarence Hawkins. He is the state director for the USDA here in Louisiana, and he's here today to share with us some information about what he does and what the USA does.
Okay.
The thing is, like you told me last time, he said people only know you by the stamp on the meat.
Yeah. Well, USDA is such a broad organization. It's really, really large. And people usually know USDA from inspections of
Yes.
foods and meat and agricultural. But the part of USDA that I'm involved in is called rural development.
Okay.
USDA has Farm Services Organization, which the farmers know very well because that's where they get their subsidies and their loans from to do the work that they do. And then they have another organization called National Conservation Service that they deal with land and ranges and conservation of the land. National Conservation Corps, NRCS. National Resources Conservation Service.
There are a lot of acronyms there.
And acronyms are dangerous because it's kind of like a foreign language.
Yes, you have to know what's going on.
Yeah, I can use an acronym, but if you don't understand the acronym, then our conversation is null and void.
Right.
But we're with rural development. And rural development is that part of USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, that deals with people issues. And because it was formed in 1860, President Abraham Lincoln established the United States Department of Agriculture. At that time, most of the nation was rural and agricultural.
Right,
Folks lived on
right.
farms.
That's right.
Cities were small, but people lived in rural parts of the country, the new country. And he felt that the government needed an agency that dealt with the issues of rural America. And it was mainly agricultural. It regulated grain and helped the farmers farm better and meat and all that kind of thing. Well, an important element was left out, the part of the agricultural community that dealt with rural development, dealt with all those issues that people who live in rural America have, such as even though you might be a farmer, but you need help with housing.
Right, right.
You need help with infrastructure as people needed wells and they needed eventually hospital services, they needed schools, they needed all kinds of businesses, all kinds of things that everybody else needed. So as the United States Department of Agriculture grew and as the country grew, the services of the Department of Agriculture expanded to take in more comprehensively the needs of the people who live there.
Okay.
And that's what rural development does now. We do all of those things that individuals and communities need to have a good standard of living and have a good quality of life. It's amazing the things that rural development does. People just don't know that first. I mentioned housing because housing is one of our most popular programs.
Right.
We make loans to individuals, both low and moderate income individuals. We make loans to them so that they can have decent, safe, and sanitary housing. We either build, we buy, or we repair. In one of your other conversations, you'll be having a conversation with one of the program directors. We have three basic programs: housing, community programs, and business. You'll be talking to one of my program directors who's responsible for the housing piece. And he'll say that they do three things. They help people either build a house, buy a house, or repair a house.
Okay.
We also deal with people who want to live in apartments. Many people in rural America aren't ready to own their own houses, but they need the decent housing. So we help developers and owners who want to build apartment complexes. We help to be sure that they have finances to do that. We also provide regulations to be sure that the housing is accommodating to individuals. We be sure that they are houses for families and houses for seniors, houses for people who have disabilities that will accommodate their particular needs, their mobility impairments, their visual needs, their hearing needs, and things of that nature. Be sure that the apartments that they build are accessible
Okay.
And then we help communities with those community needs. Like we provide funding for police cars, for fire stations, for wellness centers, for farmers markets, libraries, senior citizens facilities. Rural Development Organization can do everything. We can go from the ground to a town and everything in between that they
Okay.
need.
Okay.
The only exceptions is we don't do gaming and we don't do pure recreation. We don't do golf
Okay.
courses.
Right.
We don't do swimming pools for like recreational
Yeah.
purposes,
Yeah.
because those things are important, but that's not absolutely necessary. So, and then we help communities with businesses.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Let me stop
Okay.
right there. We'll get back to that. This is our first segment, and we'll just take a little short break, and we'll be back. We're back with Mr. Clarence Hawkins, with as a state director for USDA, and he will see where we can pick up at where we left off.
Well, if you've been in rural communities, you see that in many rural communities, houses are spread out, and there is a lot of there aren't a lot of services available. There are a lot of stores. There aren't a lot of laundromats. I have a habit of calling them washaterias.
Washaterias, yeah.
See, I don't know everybody understands
Yeah.
washateria.
Right.
But
We grew up with that one.
absolutely. When you get of a certain age,
Yeah.
then we speak the same language. But laundromats, facilities that people need, businesses that go to give you a good quality of life. It's regrettable that because there isn't a density of population in rural communities, businesses sometimes don't locate there, and folks don't have access to the services that they need. So we encourage business people to use our agency
Mm-hmm.
for funding to build businesses in rural communities so that the residents who live there that aren't necessarily involved in farming can have employment opportunities so that they can earn income, so that they can have those items. So my point there is we have a business program that helps provide funds
Okay.
to individuals who want to establish businesses in rural communities. Now, it's one of the things we need to realize that in Louisiana, there are about 6 major population centers that are not eligible for our services. Shreveport, Monroe, to some extent, the people who live in the city of Shreveport aren't eligible. People who live in the city of Monroe, to some extent, aren't eligible. People who live in Alexandria have some ineligible areas.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
Baton Rouge,
spread out.
New Orleans, Lafayette, Lake
Lake
Charles.
Charles, right.
So virtually the rest of the state of Louisiana, individuals are eligible because they meet our various definitions for rural, and those communities can take advantage of our programs. Municipalities, small towns and villages who need police cars, who need to build a fire station, or who need to buy fire trucks. Communities, nonprofits, that's another example. Head Start organizations, nonprofits, even some religious organizations, they can come to us for funding opportunities for activities that are not pure religious, but if a religious organization wants to do something that is not totally faith-based, because government can't be involved in supporting the promotion of a religion, but let's say a church group has an organization and they want to, let's say, build a nursing home.
Okay.
They can come and talk to us about that, as long as that facility is equally accessible to all folks, no matter what their religious preferences are or not religious preferences are. So that's some of the things that we do. Uh, buy, build, and repair. And you're going to have an interesting conversation with Brian Lewis.
Okay.
He is my program director for single family housing. And he is going to be very enlightening to you to let you know what all opportunities there are for individuals who want to buy houses.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, I'm also involved with a nonprofit as well,
Okay,
and we're looking at getting into rural stuff,
that's wonderful.
rural programs that we have, and I want to see maybe we can do some joint venture together.
Absolutely.
Possibility.
One of the things that, in order to deliver our services, rural development, we are what we call a field-based program. We are on the ground in communities. We're here in the Lafayette office, one of my area offices with rural development. And Charlie Minix is the area director. And I think you're going to
Yes,
be talking
I know.
to Charlie.
Yeah, I know.
Charlie has a staff of about 10, 11 people here
Mhm.
who deliver our housing programs. They deliver our community programs, both single family and multifamily. So people who want to contact us and talk about what rural development can do for them need to call this office, and Charlie's going to give you that information. We will come out to where they are and sit and talk to them. If there are groups who are watching this program who want to know if they can benefit, they need to call this office, ask for Charlie, and he and or his staff will come to where they are
Right.
and have meetings with them individually or in groups and explain to them and tell them more about in detail about what our program can do for them.
Right. Because, like I said, even though I'm involved with a nonprofit, Veterans Corner, which we're doing right now,
Sure.
has become a nonprofit as well.
Fantastic.
So there are things that we can do also
I'll give
outside
you,
the box.
I'll give you an example. I'm from Bastrop, Louisiana. Do we
Well, I'll
need
tell
to
you
pause
what.
right now?
Yeah, I need to pause right now,
Okay.
go off a little break, and we'll be back in a couple seconds and pick up where we left off. Okay, we're back at Acadiana with Mr. Clarence Hawkins, the director of the USDA, and we'll pick up where we left off this last segment.
Yeah, you mentioned that you're involved with veterans organizations
Right.
and nonprofits and all, but let me give you an example. I'm really from North Louisiana. I live in Bastrop,
Okay.
Louisiana, and Bastrop, Louisiana is extremely north. It's 20 miles north of Monroe. So in that community, a group of veterans have acquired a building that was formerly a nursing home.
Okay.
The owners of that nursing home built a new facility, and the building that they had, they left there. It's a building that was accommodating. It had about 65 rooms in it. And all.
Okay.
So a veterans group has acquired that building, and they are converting it into a facility for homeless veterans.
Okay. Okay.
And I think they call it Camp Hero.
Okay.
They are speaking to us, USDA Rural Development, about some funds
Okay.
to help them as they renovate and make that a viable facility.
Right.
They
right.
are a nonprofit organization,
Yes.
a 501c3,
Yeah. Mhm.
and they have a specific purpose. And what they need to do is basically get a business plan, an architect plan, and talk about how, because we're mainly a lender. First,
Okay.
we're a lender.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they need to figure out how they can borrow money from us or someone else
Mhm.
and have a revenue stream to service the debt, to pay
Right.
the debt
Mhm.
back.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing that we do. We help Head Starts that want to buy, build, or buy new buses
Mhm.
or expand. They can talk to us, and we can possibly help them because we want the people in rural Louisiana to have access to the same quality and level of services as anyone else, because they deserve it. Citizens or Americans, they're taxpayers, and we just want them to have the best quality of life so that they can be productive citizens and enjoy the greatness that this country has to offer.
Yeah, because what you're telling me about the different organizations, okay, the public really don't know what you do. I'm glad we were able to do
Sure.
this.
Regrettably,
But, you know,
and you're absolutely right, and I apologize for cutting you off,
that's
but
all right.
regrettably, many citizens don't know the services that their government offers them. Not only from our perspective, but the Veterans Administration. A lot of veterans don't know.
Yeah.
And we aren't allowed to advertise on TV, in the media, the paid commercials. So we have to market ourselves and use collaborators, friends, to create the network and inform people. We were in Lutcher, Louisiana on Monday, part of my team, my public information officer and my assistant, and we went to meet the National Baptist Association.
Okay.
With ministers from that National Baptist Association, because we want to form a collaboration with them so that they could go back and tell their members, their congregation, about the opportunities that they have. Because in churches, whether it's Catholic, there are seniors who need help with their housing.
Yes.
There are businesses that need help with their businesses. And all we ask people to do is make a wish list.
A bucket list?
A wish list. Wish list, like it's Christmas.
Yeah, you're right.
And then call us and let us come and talk to you about what it is that you wish, and let us see if we can help you with it. Or if we can't help you, then we can refer you to another agency.
Well, I'll tell you what, I do know in what I'm doing with Veterans Corner, I am going to be going on television and radio a lot.
Yeah.
And I will be doing like 15-minute little PSAs on Fox 15, which I can promote the USDA programs like that. I mean,
Absolutely.
The thing is, the Veterans Corner is looking for partners.
Right.
And the programs that are out there that's not being seen or heard, it's like, say, here you are, you have a major program, but they only allow you to the door. They don't want you to go through. And I'm saying, forget about the door. We got other ways of going through the door.
Absolutely.
So I can understand what you are talking about, and sometimes I'm sure you get frustrated.
Because people say, well, I just didn't know you could do that. Another example is, Charlie, I had a call from someone with the Knights of Peter Claver, and they were having a conference. I wasn't able to attend, but I asked Charlie Minix to go.
Okay.
And he has generated so many contacts from them, making people aware. And they were saying, well, we didn't know you did that, Charlie. We've been knowing you for years and years and years, and this is what you do. And so, and we were able to help because we are good stewards. We want to be stewards of the government.
Okay.
We want to provide services, be the messenger to let people know what it is that they have access to and what qualities are available to them because they deserve it. They're citizens. They're eligible. So that's what we do.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we're coming close to our ending of the show.
Sure.
But I want to thank you for coming on board once again.
Well, we thank
to
you.
Share information with us about what you guys do. And hopefully, I'm going to get you on in the future.
Well, I look forward to it. Let's make this an annual affair.
An annual affair? Okay, that's fine with me. But anyway, I want to thank Mr. Hawkins for coming here today to share some time with us. And we're going to wrap up this show and see you next time.